This is AC Starlord. Welcome to my channel. And this is going to be my best of 2021 movies and also okay and the worst all in one. So let's get started. So the very first one that I put on my list happens to be In the Heights with Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'm a big fan of his previous play Hamilton. That's on Disney Plus, but it's not on this list. But it's on Disney Plus if you want a reference to go to that before you go see In the Heights. But In the Heights is a very awesome, amazing movie about these people living in Washington Heights and how they live their day out and how they're some of them are leaving, some of them are not, and some of them are going off to better things. So it's a great musical. Right after that is Halloween Kills. Obviously, Halloween Kills was a good Halloween, the repeat from Halloween 2018. Still the same night, obviously, even though the movie was put in theaters in 2021, but following the same night as 2018, it made a lot of box office hits, made a lot of box office money, hit in the box office over for this Halloween season this year. It was one of the best horror movies of this pandemic year, and I gotta say, they killed it. So Halloween kills, basically, and that is also coming out this Tuesday, and I'm gonna probably do a separate video on that as well. The next one is Tick Tick Boom. If you want to see Andrew Garfield do something besides being Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, and being in, well, another Spider-Man movie, if you don't know already. Um, he plays a guy named Jonathan Lawrence, and it's also directed and I think directed or produced by Lin-Manuel Miranda as well, about a guy named Jonathan Lawrence that is also a playwright who revolutionarily changed the way people see plays. He made Rent and other movies, but he also made a play before he, or like a showcase play about his life called Tick Tick Boom. How he's talking about how he hears a clock constantly and going to almost talking about I'm 30 now, 3090, 3090. So yeah, it's very interesting movie. Check that out. That's also on Netflix if you like Manuel Miranda. The next one, um, Kissing Booth 3. That's also on Netflix. The first one was okay. The second one was even worse. But the third one, I like the ending of it. That's why it's on this list. They had a very good ending to this movie. Everything else was like mediocre. But you get my point. The ending was very great. That's why it's on this list. Very good ending. Nothing can go wrong. The Wrath of the Man. That's a good movie with Jason Statham outside of Hobbs and Shaw, Fast and the Furious. That movie was just a very good, interesting movie where he was just a man, kind of like a mystery man, and the wrong people killed his song. So pretty much the wrong time, the wrong place, and you're gonna get basically an action revenge movie. So that's a good movie to check out. Also, but that's a really on my list of 2021. The little things with Denzel Washington, Jared Leto. If you don't want to see him as the Joker constantly, um, he's in that movie. Also with the guy who was in um, the movie about Queen, the band Queen, and it was about similar. It was about Denzel Washington and the guy from Queen, the band Queen, teaming up to figure out this murder mystery, and it's you can find it anywhere on digital, and I think anywhere in stores somewhere. But it was an awesome movie, nonetheless. Spiral: The Book of Saul. I wasn't a big fan of Saul, but I saw this one because of who was in it. You have Samuel L. Jackson, and you have you have Chris Rock in it. Playing a different, more of a dramatized version of what he normally does. He's more of a comedian, like you normally see Chris Rock in like Grown Ups and always with Adam Sandler and doing funny things and also being um, the little dude down the street. So something different out of his wheelhouse. It was a really interesting movie. I thought it was. Some people didn't think it was, but I thought it was. And that's what's on my list. Um, Old, Old is a really good movie by Midnight Shyamalan. Check that out. If you want to go, I suggest not going on vacation on in his world because you become young and then you get older. That's all I'm gonna give out. Um, Fear Street, part one and part two. That was just amazing. Part three also continues the story, but for me, part one and part two go through um, the slasher genre, which I love to watch. As we noticed from the very top of this list, Halloween kills, obviously. So like this had a homage to slasher films like those, like Halloween, Chucky, um, Scream, and so on and so forth. And both of those are on Netflix. So it's the third one, but the third one wasn't my favorite. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Venom, Let There Be Carnage was an awesome movie, good sequel to Venom. That's why it's on this list. I just love the chemistry again with Venom and um, Tom Hardy, and also the new chemistry with Carnage and um, Carnage and Woody Harrelson, and it's just fun seeing Woody Harrelson and um, um, Tom Hardy work together in a film like this, and it's just amazing amazing Spider Man. I mean, amazing Venom Sonyverse movie that happens to be one of Spider Man's villains. The next one will be Spider Man No Way Home. Spider Man No Way Home is just an epic movie. Because the reason why I mentioned that, because again, Venom is at the very end of that. I'm not gonna spoil it. I might do a spoil. I might see Venom. I might see Spider Man again and give you guys the full on detail if Easter eggs, or I might just do an Easter egg video. You know, I've already seen it one time. But the reason why Spider Man's on the second part of this list because it was just an epic ending to the first part of this franchise and showing you the aftermath of the very end of Far From Home, and also giving us a epicness of a movie. And most of you fans already know that, like I said, from the top of this list, Tick Tick Boom, you have one of the other Spider-Mans in it, which is Andrew Garfield, and it's just seeing all three of them together doing that little point thing and talking about how they love each other and how they um, are exactly the same. That was also epicness, but also just the fact that you had Doctor Strange doing weird things, and also those other two Spider-Mans and all these other different things happening in that movie, especially old villains that were not his villains show up, like Green Goblin, Doctor Octopus, and all that stuff. Eddie, I mean, um, Jamie Foxx, and that show again as not blue, just as a regular human being, and Sandman also. How you like the new? You know what I'm saying with Jamie Foxx? How you like the new? And speaking of how you like the new, Candyman, the new Candyman for me was fantastic. Um, Same actor who was in this movie, is in The Matrix, which I will be talking about sooner or later on this. Um, that was just a good. I never seen the original one, but it's good. Highly recommend it. I highly recommend watching the other ones before you jump into this, but I jumped into it because I can't wait to see something. Jungle Cruise, our boy Rock, and Jungle Cruise with Emily Blunt. That was a good movie. Basically, another Disney ride movie, just like Pirates of the Caribbean. But I really enjoyed this one. It had some similar beats, but yes, that's why it's on this list as well because it's really good. Um, the Suicide Squad with John Cena, Idris Elba, all those, Margot Robbie, and everyone else. This was just an epic superhero movie during the pandemic, even on HBO Max, and it just was just awesome. If you haven't seen it, check it out, and check out Peacemaker when it comes out on HBO Max. Snake Eye. Oh, Free Guy. Sorry, hold on. Free Guy was awesome. Ryan Reynolds movie. If you want a movie with Ryan Reynolds in it, that's still he's still outside Deadpool, but he's more like a video game character that's self-aware, and it's like a love story, and them making fun of the fact that they're also Disney. Highly recommend checking that out. And also, if you love video games, you would love this movie. I also mentioned it a couple times on this channel, and you can check those videos out as well. Snake Eyes. For some people, Snake Eyes wasn't that great, but for me, I loved it. I loved the origin story of Snake Eyes. It gave me a good origin story of Snake Eyes. It was a great martial arts movie all at the same time. And the guy from Crazy Rich Asians was very good in this movie. He's better in this movie than Crazy Rich Asians, I gotta say. Hitman Bodyguard's Wife. Another Ryan Reynolds movie with our boy Samuel L. Jackson. That's also in another movie on this list. Spiral, and Simon Hayek. Just an awesome direct sequel to the first hit, Hitman's Bodyguard, and it's just about his wife hiring the same bodyguard to save her husband, which is Samuel L. Jackson, and just go on some wild, funny adventure comedy in this movie. Nobody was a good movie with the guy who plays Better Call Saul. Just an John Wick. I like to say a John Wick kind of style movie because it was made by the people who did John Wick, and hard to explain about that movie. But if you've seen John Wick, it's kind of like that in the way in the fashion of the way it's built, but in different standards. Red Notice. Red Notice was another movie with Ryan Reynolds. I know Ryan Reynolds has been on this list for from since Free Guy, and also with our boy The Rock that was also in Jungle Cruise, and Gal Gadot, which is Wonder Woman. Fantastic movie. Highly recommend checking this out. It's on Netflix. If you like Indiana Jones with a little bit of a heist movie, you will love this. Army of the Dead, a Zack Snyder movie, good zombie movie, and also a good heist movie. That's all I'm giving out. That's a Netflix movie, but it's really good. It has a guy who plays Drax in it, so check that out if you want to see Drax do something else. There you go. The Marksman with Marksman with um, Liam Neeson. That's a good movie. Highly recommend checking that out too. Um, good like just a normal regular country guy doing his thing, helping out someone, and you get the drift. It's a Liam Neeson movie, so it's like kind of like taking it away in a way. Outside the Wire with our boy Falcon that also made a big hit on Disney Plus for Falcon the Winter Soldier, but this is basically him playing a version of since he's like a kind of like a Winter Soldier kind of. He's more like a robot AI humanoid person. I mean, like he's a person, so he's like a robot slash human, kind of like cyborg, and he gets help from a military guy, one of the military guys, and he needs to take him. This guy has access to take him outside the wire, and it's very interesting, very good sci-fi army war movie. It's on Netflix. Check that out if you are in the mood to check that out. That's one of on this list as well. Um, Black Widow. You can never go bad with Black Widow. It had some bad times with Disney, with um, um, what's called Johansson, but the movie itself is great, and we get to tie up that story in Hawkeye with her sister. But yes, really good movie. It shows you what she did in the past before she met Clint and before she teamed up with the Avengers, and it ends off at that moment. But this was a really good movie during this time as well of 2021 and all that stuff. It was an awesome, awesome movie. And check it out on Blu-ray as well. Thunder Force. I mean, no, no, my bad. Tomorrow War. Tomorrow War is on Amazon Prime. It was a good sci-fi movie with Star Lord himself. Um, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt does a very good job in this, and it's basically kind of like an alien movie, but it's a goes back in time. Also, it's a time travel movie where the war is actually happening now, not tomorrow. But you get my point. Check that out. It's really good. It's on Amazon Prime. I think it might be still. I don't know how long how long things last on Amazon Prime. Um, Godzilla versus King Kong. Godzilla versus Kong was just an epicness of two major giant titans fighting, and made box office hit, and it made a HBO splash on HBO, because that's one reason most people got HBO anyways, because that was one of the first. I think it was one of the first Warner Brothers movies that were Warner Brothers movies that teamed up to do movies on HBO Max, and it made a big stink on that. But this movie was just epicness to see these two people fight, and also fight. I mean, these two monsters and two titans fighting. And also another big threat, Mega Godzilla. And Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, and some other cast members were pretty amazing, and some of them are pretty fun as well. Vanquish, is a movie with Ruby Rose that was also previously playing Batwoman on on the CW EU, but we won't get into that. This one's with also with Morgan Freeman. Hi, my name is Morgan Freeman. Um, Bad imitation, I know. That's an imitation of John Flinginger doing Morgan Freeman, another movie reviewer that I love and adore on this platform that also reviews movies. But this movie has Ruby Rose playing, Ruby Rose helping out um, Morgan Freeman on around the house, but also she also is a hitman for him. So it's kind of like one of those movies. So check that out if you want to. It's an independent movie. It's probably hard to find, but you can probably find it on digital now. But yeah, if you're looking for it, it's probably hard to find now. Tom and Jerry, Tom and Jerry is a good movie. Even though Tom and Jerry is like background characters, I love Chloe Burnett, Hit Girl. It had a very good story behind it, and basically Chloe Burnett has to get this hotel ready for these famous people, kind of like a make believe version of Nick Jonas, and also that wacky stuff behind the scenes with Tom and Jerry. And Tom and Jerry in this was just awesome. It's funny, cool. Remind me of Space Jam, and we are going to talk about it. But remind me of Space Jam with all the cartoon characters that know real well. So why not? That's Raya and the Last Dragon. Amazing movie from Disney. Another martial arts but martial arts movie, but animated. It's good, mystical, awesome. And if you want to see Aquafina and some before she hit the big screen, well, before she hit the big screen, now it's on DVD. But before she hit the big screen, just imagine in 2021 here, before she hit the big screen, another movie that we're also going to talk about on here that was a big splash for Marvel, Raya the Last Dragon. Reminisce. Reminisce was also a good movie with Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, our boy Wolverine. Um, had this machine that can make you reminisce about a time and place and all that stuff. It was on HBO Max. Very interesting. I enjoyed it. I saw it last moment on HBO Max. So I didn't want to see it in theaters, and it was already too late to see it in theaters because it was. I think it was almost heading out the door in theaters. It was heading out the door at HBO Max too. But I think now you can get it on Blu-ray, and I think it might be on HBO Max at some point again. Fast 9 or F9 was fantastic. You gave me an origin story about his father. It gave me the fact that John Cena can also play another character besides just Peacemaker and a big giant bull and a parent and a movie called Cock Blockers. But yeah, it gave me a fact that okay, Van Diesel has a brother, and he's never been shown before besides having Paul Walker as his brother, and John Cena did a very good job playing his brother, and he gave me backstory about his dad, and also gave you the hijinks and the hijinks that they normally get into, like heist racing and them making fun of themselves being superheroes and all stuff, and they go to space. So why not? I made my that made it on this list. It could have been on top of my list, but it wasn't. The space thing wasn't that top of my didn't make it go top of the list. But you get my point. It was on this list because they went to space finally. How they finally made fun of the fact that they might go to space. Speaking of space, Space Jam, New Legacy, seeing LeBron, not much of a good actor, but seeing him in the cartoon form, him acting as a cartoon, that was the only time he gave his best performance in this. But him in real life, goofiness nonetheless, just like Michael Jordan gave his best. But he gave his best of his athlete skills, and seeing the Looney Tunes back in action again, besides the movie back in action, but seeing Looney Tunes back in action, playing the sport that everyone loves, basketball, to take down the algae rhythm. War Machine did a fantastic job playing the bad guy, and seeing all these Warner Brother people, all these Warner Brother characters, and also watching in theaters and watching on HBO Max. Awesome. I did 2 videos on this, so highly recommend checking those 2 videos out. Space Jam was just a fantastic movie, fun movie for the whole family, and if you have kids, also fun. Wally's, I mean, Willie's, Willy's Wonderland. Willy's Wonderland is a um, independent Nicolas Cage movie, like kind of like Five Nights at Freddy, which they're still making a real life movie about, but it's Five Nights at Freddy. All nothing been said. You need to watch it. It's just like Five Nights at Freddy's with Nicolas Cage not saying one word. Thunder Force, good Netflix movie, good comedy. Um, Highly recommend checking it out if you like superhero movies, and them making fun of it. Enough said. Cruella de Vil was a good movie with Emma Stone. Emma Stone was our Gwen Stacy, and her playing the origin stories of Cruella de Vil, the person who murders dogs for fashion, especially Dalmatians, 100 Dalmatians, simply to know that as a fact. good origin story from Disney. Epicness. Just like Jungle Cruise. Yesterday it was on Netflix. Good movie, good comedy. Just with Ben Affleck's ex-wife, the parents always say no, 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 and the kids challenge them to say yes for one day. It's a good, interesting movie. I also think it's a book. Coming to America 2, also on Amazon Prime. I think it's still on there. But Coming to America 2 was just awesome. Or Coming to America is basically repeating the same thing, except this time Eddie Murphy has a son, and he discovers his son's in America, and he brings him back over to their native African land.